Right now.
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 All right. Welcome, my friends. I am here. Thank you for bearing with me. Such a crazy day. Man. It's always these days where I was like, all right, start at 4:15 and then I start at 4:20 my time. Oh man. Getting backed up. So thank you all for joining me. As always, another daily writing sprint. We're going to try to get some progress today. Hope all y'all are doing well. Cheryl, ML, Lynn, always so great to see all y'all. So if you're just hopping into the stream, welcome. We're going to do a writing sprint. I got enough time for a 30-minute sprint. So that means we're going to have to be super productive. So we'll get into a writing sprint and I'll join you guys in the chat. Then you're like, my iPad has been malfunctioning, so I've been trying to do more writing on my work computer. Well, hey, at least you're able to get some writing done at work. That's super cool. You're able to get some. I've never relied on an iPad for typing. I feel like for me personally, I've always had to have like a computer to be able to I don't know. I need all the screen real estate. I'm so used to it now. But when I'm traveling, still the computer, the tablet just feels too small for me. But maybe I just need the right keyboard, that right travel size. I know I've seen your keyboard in some of your pictures. I think maybe it's probably just the right keyboard. Awesome. Hey, what's up, Devin? Welcome, my friend. Hope all is well. So we're going to hop right into it. I am in a crazy scene. I keep I need more time. I just need more time because the scene is bananas. All right. So I'll see what I can do. I'm at the final beat of the scene, so I'm going to try to push myself and see how it comes out, since I don't think the final beat needs rewriting. So I'm going to get into it. We're going to hit 30 minutes of the clock and we will go. So let's go with your brainstorming, writing, revising, editing, or something else. Come join us because it's time to write now. Hey, what's up, guys? I like paused the music real fast. I'm like so in this is such like a crazy chapter. I know I've like talked about this before. If you guys if you're like sprinting or writing right now, just tune me out. If you need to focus on writing, since our sprint today is kind of shorter than I would anticipate. But this chapter is so crazy bananas. This like chapter is so crazy. And I know JW, you were kind of asking about the process, like 600 minutes of dedication right there. Yeah, I mean, I love the writing process, and I hope I think by by this many streams, I think most people can tell I love writing. So yeah, but this chapter, it's crazy. And I was counting how many fights that I had. Um God, it's so crazy. I was trying to count because for those of you who know, since I've been working on this, I've been on this story arc, specifically the Colosseum story arc, um, for at least a couple of weeks now. I mean, because the Colosseum story arc of this book is probably about 7 to 8 chapters. I think I've been on this part of the book for about a month now. And I've done such intense work with making sure that I have all of the animals correct. And it's so crazy as I'm kind of like looking through this and seeing like how is it feeling. um Yeah, and I'm just like I'm looking at all of the different fights I had, and once again, like this is definitely the hardest. This is definitely the most technically difficult chapter in the entire book. Lion versus hyena. Um, and I'm like writing this down as well. So this is definitely one of the most technically difficult. And I'll talk about the chapter for a second because I know some of you guys were asking questions, but the chapter itself is really crazy. It's right now it's running on to be the longest chapter of the book, and I'm going to figure it out on I need to finish the rest of the chapter, at least the revision part of it, and then go back. I need to read the chapter from start to finish and see how it feels from a reading experience. It's basically because I ended up the character is stuck in a Colosseum fight to the death with about 100 other animals, and I originally wanted to start the beginning of the chapter with the Colosseum fight, but I ended up doing setup for his allies who are trying to save him. And I realized I wanted that like kind of like setup to be there because I want it to kind of feel like the reader's almost waiting, like they want the fight to happen. Because I built it up so much. But then with the allies being set up, and then with the fight itself, it's just a long freaking chapter, that's for certain. So I'm just gonna have to see how the pacing feels because it's definitely running a little longer than the average chapter. But I had a count here how many fights I've referenced in this. So in this Colosseum arc, I've referenced 37 animals loosely. I've referenced 37 animals at different varying points over the past 7 to 8 chapters, um, with the intent of it feeling like there's roughly about 100 animals there in the Colosseum. And then in this chapter alone, I've just gone back and counted like how many animal fights have I referenced within the chapter itself. How many animal fights have I referenced? And I want to say I've referenced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I've referenced about 25 different animal fights within one chapter. And it's different pairings, 1-on-1s, 2-on-1, 3-on-2. And I really wanted it to feel like it's like this crazy fight because a lot up until this point in the book, a lot of it is journeying through a land. It's very much action adventure. And I built up to this moment for so long. I want the reader to be so rewarded with this crazy fight. I'm like hoping that the character survives. And there's so much that happens, but And that's what makes it so technically difficult, is that there are not, outside of the length, I have multiple character POVs in the chapter. I don't switch character POVs a lot in this book, but this is one chapter where I do switch multiple character POVs. And then the pacing just feels different. The pacing feels different than the past couple of chapters, and it's intentionally meant to be so because it's a fight scene, but I weave in and out between fighting and then between moments of interiority as Scarecrow, the characters are trying to recover and trying to figure out what to do. And it's interesting as I feel like I'm trying to like weave a thread between the fights that's happening, the narrative that's happening with Scarecrow, and then the overall feel of the match. And then yeah, so I'm definitely weaving a lot. It's fun overall in the sections that I've like reviewed now in this chapter so far. It's overall it's coming out really good. The overall chapter is coming out excellent. It's like I knew that when I got to this part of the book, when I got back to this part of the book, it was going to be a lot of work, just because of how many characters are involved. And by the way, I tell people like never put this many characters in a book, like never, or in a chapter, like never do this many characters. I feel confident I can pull it off because I've been writing for 20 to 30 years. So like I feel confident in my skill set, but I could be wrong, right? It doesn't matter what I think; it matters if readers like it. So that will ultimately be the test when I get review and get feedback. But this is a very difficult thing that I'm trying to attempt. I recognize it's difficult and I love challenges. So I'm hoping that I can pull it off. And I hope that it will prove I want it to be such a rewarding experience. And that by this point, the reader's only barely halfway through the book. They're not even at the midpoint yet. And the midpoint is crazy. The midpoint chapter, which is coming up in just a couple chapters, is crazy. Lynn, so that's a great question. So for those of you who've like been in the community for a while, y'all know that. So the Last Scarecrow, it's called The Last Scarecrow, a Dawn of Fantasy. I should probably just read the blurb. I should just read the blurb. But yeah, so it's called The Last Scarecrow. Everyone knows that it is a 100. My goal was originally 120,000 words. Right now, I'm in the middle of the second draft, and it's running about 160,000 words. I think in the next draft, I'm really going to have to like force myself to be cutting down on wordiness. But to Lynn's point, you said for cutting words, have you considered moving arcs to sequel books? I have considered that, and I'm absolutely considering moving certain arcs to different books. The challenge that I'm faced with is the way that I've plotted out the novel with each of the story arcs. I very intentionally weaved the character's journey, spiritually, emotionally, and physically through each of these arcs in a way where certain arcs are referring back there. There's just there's a lot of interconnectivity between a lot of the arcs. So for me to take out a story arc and then place it in the other part of the story, it just may not work because of the character's journey in the book. In the later books is just completely different. But I have considered that, and that's going to be my backup. My first goal in the third draft will be to try to cut down on wordiness. I'm going to try to see if I can cut down on all my wordiness. I think with wordiness, I can probably cut down maybe 10,000 words, and then getting feedback. So, yeah. Awesome. And then fight scenes are definitely tricky to land. I can't wait to see it. Yeah. You and me both, my friend. Desdemona, and you're like, how many characters are there? I can relate to. I'm going to write this, and wow, this will be a challenge. Great question. So the entire book, I want to say that there are how many characters? So I think I counted it overall. I think it was 20. Okay, I have to think about this. So I want to say that there's 28 characters throughout the book. But I would say that there are 6 major characters who affect the plot more than 50%. And then out of the 6, then beyond the 6, there's probably another 5 who are like show up in like maybe 2 to 3 chapters. And then the rest of the characters are all like one chapter characters. And then there's even more characters with all these animals. But the animals aren't really like real characters. The 30, 35 animals I've referenced are all I would consider very much very, very like minor characters that are referenced once or twice. And I'm doing them in a way that's more serving a world building factor than doing character development. I'm not doing full on setups for every animal, but I'm doing reference setups in a way that it's all supposed to serve the world building nature of this Coliseum. And I'm really tackling it in a different way that I normally do character setup. So we'll see how it we'll see how it pans out. Hopefully it pans out the way that I want it to. Ah, man. Man, but even then, so like I got through the rest of that beat. And then once again, I'm still at the last beat of the chapter that I need to wrap up. Probably should be able to finish it up tomorrow, actually. Probably should be able to finish up tomorrow. I feel like that last section I just did, like the last like 2 or 3 pages, I feel like it does feel a little clunkier than I would like. That's all right. I'm not as concerned because I know I can fix it. I'm hoping, Devin. I feel like I'm like slowly getting there. I mean, I got one more chapter and then I'm at the midpoint. So I'm almost at the halfway mark of the book. But I'm really hoping that the second half of the book goes faster because I was much further along in a lot of my story development than I was in the first draft. So we'll see. Or maybe I can figure out a 24-hour writing sesh for my schedule, one of the two. I just want to get this draft. It's so much fun. I love it so much. So, but thank you all for all the support. I appreciate y'all. I totally interrupted the end of that writing sprint with chattering on about Scarecrow. As you guys know, I can talk about Scarecrow forever, as we can all talk about our books. Can you see the light at the end of the tunnel? I can see it. I can always see the light at the end of the tunnel. The question is, I don't know how long it will take me to get there. I'm not perturbed by the amount of time it takes me. Like, it takes me however long it takes me. I'm going to write, like, Scarecrow is going to be, like, the most awesome adventure book people have ever read. I feel confident I can create it. But I just need to make sure that it takes, I'm able to have the time to do all the things that I want to do with it. So we'll see. I see the light. I really want to see the light by fall. That's Devin. That's what I want to see. I really want to see the light at the end of this tunnel by fall. But we're gonna see how time plays out with how limited my time's been. Hopefully, August is going to allow me to put more time into my writing sessions. So, oh man, I need to figure out. I need to drop something so I can write more. All right, my friends. Thank you all for joining me today. I'll be back tomorrow with the Right Now Writers Group. As always, if you want to come join us, if you want to come chat with other writers, if you want to come just talk writing nonsense, come join us. Let me know. Drop a comment or let us know in the Discord. Wednesday Writers Group is an open invite to writers in the community. Remember, every single Wednesday, same time, same place, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. We'll be here. Come join us for, I want to say, the 47th? Maybe we're on the 50th meeting of the Right Now Writers Group. And that's what I got for you today, my friends. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me on this mostly writing sprint and then kind of getting distracted. But, as writers, we never procrastinate, right? Thank you all for joining me. Hopefully you were able to get a little bit of work done. But unfortunately, that brings you to the end of this stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. Words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. It's time to write
Right now.
Sorry.
Right now, not right now, but right now. Read now, right now. Is that right?
Words are